Good morning, everyone. Hopefully you guys had a great Wednesday. Hump day. Now to see here, I've got to tell you guys, I'm going to talk about it briefly, but one, welcome to the channel, and two, for all you that have checked in so far, thank you very much for following protocol, being good little internet buddies. Okay, so let's see here. Today we'll start with the YouTube people because they seem to be able to follow directions pretty well. Bradley Collins first, Tina number 2. Bob Pita, you are the turd. Catitude, good morning. Bradley Collins, who else we got in here? And Deanna and Rose. And let's see here. Yes, you guys are all having a good old time. Nice. What I really think is funny is that, and you know what? Hold on a second. Let me finish and we get the Rumble-ites. Let me get my Rumbler people in there, because a lot of people watch on Rumble, but they just never comment. I mean, there's more people, supposedly, there's more people watching on Rumble right now than there are on the YouTube sides. And I think that, that should be verifiable by the thumbs up. And I don't know what it is, man. It's just they're just lazy or something. Anyway, so Hicktown first, Andy Pearson number 2. Good Boys Guild, you are the turd. Followed by Laser, House of Cleve. Nice. Hey, nice to see you, bro. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. I do this Monday through Friday, 9:30 a.m. as best I can. You know, the world will crush us from time to time. Yeah, and then I post other videos as well, but I like doing the lives. Let's see here. Let's see. House dang autocorrect. Gotcha. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, Good Boys Guild. We know that this stuff is just trash from time to time. If you guys have not hit that thumbs up button, please do it now. It does draw more people in. It feeds the algorithm that it needs to survive, because God knows, the algorithm must survive. That's some scary stuff. That is some scary stuff. So to get things started, guys, listen. And for those of you that are watching after this live stream, guys, YouTube's after me again. They're absolutely after me again. It makes no sense. I'm following all their rules, but they just don't like that. For some reason, they don't like what I'm doing. And that's okay. That's okay. The way we beat them is for you guys to share this video with your friends. Share it wherever you want to share it. It's going to help the program. It's going to bring more people in. And it's going to create a better, more robust audience. That's how I survive. That's how I can continue to do this. So those likes and subscribes, they do help. But if you could share this video with people that are other than yourself, it would be greatly appreciated. All right. And let's see. Let's go ahead and start with some of the stupid news. Let's see. Well, yesterday, I think we briefly talked about it. Joe agreed to get his ass stomped twice. That's all I'll say. They're already trying to stack the deck. It's not going to work. It's going to be a haymaker coming out of nowhere. They're not even going to see it. They think that they can type words and say things out of their mouths, and then when you go toe to toe with a real person, it's a different story. Yes, they're gonna tell him we want drug testing. So that is what's going to happen. All right, so let's see. Also, somebody tried to kill the president of what was it, Slovenia or Czechoslovakia? I'm not sure which one it is anymore. Yeah, they put 4 bullets in his belly, but he's still alive. Thank God nobody else got hurt. Obviously this is the we are Rome moment. Where there's 22 Roman senators with their knives drawn, trying to poke holes in your little man dress. If you guys don't know that reference, well, maybe you should read more history books. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. The first thing is, and I was looking, what I normally like to do is I normally like to, in the title of the video, try to put 3 catchwords for the 3 subjects that I normally cover, or that I'm covering during that video. And this all turned into New World Order. It all turned into New World Order. So hopefully this will educate you a little bit more about what's happening currently in the world that does pertain to you. And for those of you people out there on the X's, let me see, can I actually tell X? Nah, nobody's watching this on X, but that's okay. UK rejects the WHO pandemic treaty as critics sound alarm over New World Order. Those aren't my words. They're from an article that I'm regurgitating to you in my man voice. The British government is preparing to reject a global health treaty that critics warn gives power to a new world order. The UK is opposed to signing the World Health Organization (WHO) Global Pandemic Treaty, insisting the accord would undermine the UK's sovereignty. Duh. The UK purportedly refused to agree to any treaty which would not allow the nation to put its own interests first. Aha! See, nations are figuring it out. They're like, dude, this is yeah. We're not going to give you control of all of our stuff. So, in its present form, with the ninth and final draft, the WHO treaty would require wealthier Western nations such as the US and UK to surrender 20% of their pandemic-related health products, including medicines, vaccines, shut-up phone, and protective equipment, to be given to nations the WHO deems less developed. Isn't that special? You just want to take all our stuff. You just want to take all our stuff. Let's see. The terms of the treaty would grant the WHO 10% of those products for free, and the other 10% at affordable prices. A spokesperson for Britain's Department of Health and Social Care stated, quote, we will only support the adoption of the accord and accept it on behalf of the UK if it is firmly in the UK's best national interest and respects national sovereignty. Isn't that special? Meanwhile, back in America, Senator Ron Johnson cautioned against the dangers of global governance and a new world order. Man, they're using those words. I can't wait to see the banner that pops up underneath this video that the YouTube's is going to attach to it. He explained that the WHO engineered the global response to COVID-19, but ultimately gave cover to China, where the virus originated. Yeah, this video is definitely going to get taken down. Okay, I guess we need to watch it while we can and share it with all your friends. The Chinese exert way too much influence on the World Health Organization, and that's very true. Why would we want China's influence dictating Americans' actions or other nations' actions as well? Johnson and his fellow Senate Republicans issued a letter last week to President Joe Biden demanding he withdraw the U.S. from WHO pandemic treaty negotiations. He's like, we don't even want to talk to him. Declaring the terms of the treaty unacceptable. The letter states some of the over 300 proposals for amendments made by member states would substantially increase the WHO's health emergency powers and constitute intolerable infringements upon U.S. sovereignty. The letter also called on the U.S. to hold the WHO accountable for its total and predictable failure to respond adequately to that thing we cannot speak about. A failure which the letter argues did lasting harm to our country. The letter concludes, noting that any treaty must be approved by the Senate and that Biden is expected to submit any pandemic-related agreement to the Senate for its advice and consent. The presidents, and they're talking about of multiple countries, are abusing their authority in terms of entering these agreements, calling them executive agreements, when they clearly fall into the guidelines of what treaties should be. He added that Americans should understand what our president is getting America involved in. Johnson and his Senate compadres are the only ones calling on Biden to withdraw from negotiations. Last week, 22 state attorney generals also sent a letter to the president, warning that the pandemic treaty would give the WHO unprecedented and unconstitutional powers over the United States and her people, and cautioning against relinquishing more power to unelected and unaccountable institutions, referring to the pandemic treaty as highly problematic. They further noted that the negotiations Biden has involved the U.S. in would transform the WHO from an advisory charitable organization into the world's governor of public health, and inappropriately cede American sovereignty to the WHO. Additionally, they pointed out that the federal government does not have the constitutional authority to delegate public health decisions to an international body, observing that responsibility for public health policy is vested in the states, not the federal government. And finally, the attorneys general warned that the WHO's proposal would lay the groundwork for a global surveillance infrastructure, ostensibly the interest of public health, but with the inherent opportunity for control, as with communist China's social credit system, which actually is a real thing. They added, the current draft instructs signatories to cooperate in accordance with the with national law in preventing misinformation and disinformation. There it is. They had to say it. They had to get it in there. Misinformation and disinformation is just code word for we don't want you to hear things, only listen to us. This is particularly dangerous given that our administration pressured and encouraged social media companies to suppress free speech during that thing we can't talk about. Nations are expected to either accept or reject the terms of the pandemic treaty at the WHO's World Health Assembly in Geneva, Switzerland, later this month. Okay, guys, let's go ahead and check the chat here. Now is the time to comment if you're going to comment about anything. Otherwise, I'll move on to greater things. Bradley says, Tefel showed up. Hey, what's up, man? Let's see here. The ones opposed are not in on the ruse. Jordan, gotcha. Bradley says, my body, my choice. That's what I'm staying with. I'm standing by any of y'all who agrees. I got you, bro. I got you. All right, let's see here. We've got, oh man, it looks like 23 on Rumble and 18 in YouTube. The battle continues. Guys, if you haven't checked it or said hi, please do so now. If you have not hit that thumbs up button, it is greatly appreciated. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and we're going to roll on over to the next thing I want to talk about. As usual, guys, we need to talk about the sponsors of Prep Stock 2024. One of our major sponsors is Jace Medical. Jace Medical. You know, we don't think about these things all the time, but, you know, listen, the proof is in the pudding, you guys. The United Health was confirmed 2 weeks ago that it paid a ransom to hackers claiming to be involved in the cyber attack on its systems. You know, an estimated $22 million ransom was reportedly paid. You should be aware of these problems and securing the medical system. And when it goes down, you don't get your medications on time. We've shown this all the time. Just Google CVS pharmacies closed and see what pops up. That's why I'm recommending the Jace Daily Prescription System. Imagine having a year's supply of prescriptions that you need at home that you can like rotate through like a pantry of prescriptions. I will leave a link below and you guys can go check it out. And don't forget to use the code LocalPrepper10 to save 10% because these things are not cheap. Guys, you got to do it. You got to do it. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and jump on to the next subject. It looks like there may be a couple of comments here. Ian says, second, my body, my choice. I got you, Ian. If you guys believe that it's my body, my choice, and screw the WHO, do me a favor, put a 1 in the chat. Let's go ahead and wake things up a little bit. All right, let's see here. The next thing, guys. Justin Trudeau creates blueprint for dystopia in horrific bill. Guys, we've talked about this before, but the details are coming out how dangerous this bill is for the Canadian citizens. And unfortunately, what this also comes down to is that they want, they're trying to, so they tried to use Australia, okay, as the laboratory for these crazy laws, agendas, mindsets, super liberal, wacky, crazy, purple hair, crazy stuff. And it started to work a little bit, but then it kind of died off because they forgot that the people in Australia, you know, basically came up. They had a revolution just like we did here in America, and that's how they went from a penal colony to a country. But anyway, Canada, you know, which Canada is technically owned by the British government, if you guys didn't know that. It's owned by the royals. And so everything that they do in their government, their supposed government, has to be signed off by the King of England. Not a joke. It's like one of those little hidden rules. It's kind of funny how it's like it's like the illusion of self governance. It's kind of mind blowing. But anyway, old Justin Trudeau there, he's really showing the. I'm just going to get into it. On February 21st, Justin Trudeau gave a press conference in Edmonton announcing his government's decision to introduce the Online Harms Act, or Bill C-63. It was described in Canada media as a bill to protect kids that would stop the exploitation of children. I'm going to move that cough drop around. And Trudeau's curt speech focused solely on minors. The scarf-clad prime minister angrily dismissed criticisms that the bill might have a broader focus. Soon after, February 26th, Trudeau's government introduced the bill. Canada's stable of retreating, credulous, and on-air personalities announced its rollout like the arrival of penicillin. This is the greatest thing ever. Finally, a real law. There was little initial uproar. What could be wrong? What could be wrong with increasing child safety or protecting the vulnerable? Then they read the bill. If you look at the purpose of the law, it's actually quite noble, and most lawmakers would agree with it, says Canadian attorney Dan Freet. Online safety, protecting children's physical and mental health, but the actual text, and guys, this is wild. Trudeau was lying when he said C-63 was very, very specifically focused on correcting kids' issues. The purview of the Online Harms Act extends far beyond speech, reimagining society as a mandated social engineering project, creating transformational new procedures that would, here's one of them, enlist Canada's citizens in an ambitious social monitoring system. Social monitoring system. Wow. With rewards up to $20,000 for anonymous informants for hateful speech, with the guilty paying penalties up to $50,000. Creating a self-funded national spying system. You guys catch the numbers on that? So you can anonymously report somebody and get to $20,000, and they go find that person, and then they use your anonymous call, text, however you contact them. They use they use that as evidence against you, and then they fine you $50,000, and somehow you pay it, right? So in a perfect world, you pay it, and then so they give the anonymous person the $20,000, and they keep the $30,000. Oh, isn't that perfect? The only problem is that meanwhile, back here in the real world, no citizen of Canada has. They're not one percenters, guys. It's just that easy. They're not going to cough up $50,000, so it can't fund itself. And the anonymous person who reported them or monitored them is probably never going to receive any money for it anyway. All right. Another thing that it does is it introduces extraordinary criminal penalties, including life in prison, not just for existing crimes like advocating genocide, but for any, I'm going to read this, but for any offense motivated by hatred. In theory, any criminal offense, as tiny as littering, committed with hateful intent. Yeah, they're combining things. Another thing is that it's going to punish the minority report or basically it's pre-crime. We've all seen the movie, where if an informant convinces a judge you will commit a hate offense, you can be jailed up to a year, put under house arrest, have firearms seized, or be forced into drug and alcohol testing, all for things you haven't done. They're already working on this model. They've currently got Jordan Peterson doing the same thing so that he can keep his license. He's going to like how to be a nice guy classes that won't change him in any way, shape, or form. Then it also penalizes past statements. The law gets around prohibitions against retroactive punishment by calling the offense continuous communications of hate, i.e., the crime is your failure to take down bad speech. So if I were a Canadian citizen and this law went into effect, I would have to take down my entire YouTube channel because they're wrong and we're right. And they can't have that. Another thing is it's going to force corporate internet platforms to remove harmful content virtually on demand within 24 hours in some cases. The hammer being fines up to 6% of gross global revenue. So they're going to try and this is just another money grab for social programs. They're going to try and get, good morning, Leroy. They're just trying to get everybody to give them as much money as they possibly can. And they don't care if it's the CEO of YouTube or if it's Joe Schmo who works, who works in freaking, I don't know, he's a plumber. He's a ditch digger for the city or something, I mean, he counts. He's the guy that works the toll booths over at the bridge, They don't care where they get it from. They just want your money so that they can make things better. All right. So, things you're saying, things you've already said, things that administrative judge thinks you might say are barred with neighbors deputized as enforcers. These are some good times, guys. Yeah. Leave it to Trudeau, a frequent trailblazer in the new forms of liberalism in the digital age, to come up with this quantum leap downward on the rights on the rights of the citizens. C63 is a Frankenstein's monster combining the worst censorship ideas already developed by supposedly ally government in law like Europe's Digital Service Act, Australia's updated Australian Communications and Media Authority Act, and Scotland's Hate Crime and Public Order Act, which saw 7,152 complaints in the first week when the law took its effect. Trudeau's creation is a turbocharged surveillance law aimed first at forcing big platforms like Facebook and Twitter, like I told you, to self-police, but secondarily targeting individuals and doling out civil and criminal penalties for speech and thought on a scale not seen anywhere. I told you, they're just coming after all of it. What constitutes hateful conduct? You guys are gonna love this. While the new bill defines hate speech as likely to foment detestation or vilification of Canada's growing list of protected groups and individuals, Canadian lawyers interviewed were generally unsure of what the standard might look like in practice. And now this is from a lawyer's perspective. It's impossible to know what exactly it's going to mean. So you're going to have to rely upon the court in a criminal prosecution or the human rights tribunal in a human rights proceeding to put their own interpretation on that and figure out where the line is. Despite being split on how serious the impact might be, we're not looking to prisons full of people. We're not looking at prisons full of people doing life for misgendering, said one lawyer. Most attorneys seem to agree that C63 will be a game speech at the very concept of individual rights, chipping away at ideas like the presumption of innocence. Oh, no, not that. And the right to face one's accuser. And it's right, if it's anonymous, you don't have the right to face your accuser. I'm pretty sure that's against their constitution as well as ours. And using traditionally dubious tools like ex post facto laws. How bad is C63? See for yourself. In a tour through its key sections, the biggest headline grabber in C63 involves new provisions for life imprisonment for speech offenses. There are really two. Advocating genocide is a crime in Canada, but C63 boosts its maximum penalty from 5 years to life sentences for sending out some words. So as bad as the sending out some words portion is, a more frightening provision prescribes potential life sentences for any offense motivated by hate. This is a difficult concept, but what the law prescribes is any violation of any act of parliament, no matter how minor, combined with hateful motivation. One example given was crumbling up an anti-gay flyer and throwing it out the window in a national park, which would combine a federal littering prohibition with hate speech. Another attorney suggested that could refer to something like denial of restaurant service, and marveled at this takes civil offenses and makes them into crimes. Yeah. So C63, guys, it is not good. The things that I'm learning about Canada that are currently happening right now completely makes me understand why my Canadian Patreons have disappeared, why they have disappeared from our Discord, because they are scared to death. They're running around sweeping up every breadcrumb and cleaning every email box and doing everything that they can so that they don't go to jail. It's absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And I would say that's inhumane. If you're watching this video in Canada right now, you guys need to do something about it. All of the lefty nutbag liberal fools that you allowed to be elected, something needs to be done. Something needs to be done. All right, I'm going to go and check the chat here real quick. Not a lot going on there. I don't understand what the hell is wrong with you people today. Let's see. Nick showed up. Good morning. Deborah says they want to make it safe for the radical terrorists to not get feelings hurt. I got you. Jordan says, lock me up for saying I hate Brussels sprouts. I'm going to put that on there. It's just so we can make sure that actually happens. Lock me up for saying I hate Brussels sprouts. If you guys hate Brussels sprouts, type a 2 in the chat. Let's see here. Anonymous equals Stasi and Gestapo tactics. Yes, guys, we've seen this before. We have seen this before. Jordan says his tie might say good guy, but his underwear says socialism with a Marxism tint, And then Deborah says, but what about false reports? Exactly. People just looking to do it because it's so subjective that it's like, oh, yeah, Joey, he's always been a mean guy. He's full of hate. And he said this bad thing. Next thing you know, the hate police are showing up saying, hey, you've been saying bad things, man. And yeah. Grumpy Eagles Farming. Hey, what's up, man? Canada's quickly heading into the show me the man and I will show you the crime territory. Yeah, they're kind of doing it openly. Let's see here. Where are we at here? Bradley says one has to be cooked right or they are horrible. What are you guys talking about now? Oh, you're killing me, man. Let's see. Oh, you're talking about the Brussels sprouts. Laser says Brussels sprouts are delicious, man. Let's see here. Let's see. Good boy Gil says I will be in jail one day. Truth Speak Dad says I like Brussels sprouts. Hicktown Honey loves Brussels sprouts. All right, I got a big one here. So Bradley Collins says it is not about the truth anymore. It's about being first when it comes to the news. So they can say lies, and months later, they may or may not say we had it wrong. Absolutely true. We got Truth Speak Dad says this bill in Canada reminds me of red flag laws in the U.S. Yes, they're definitely they're trying to do that kind of stuff, guys. It's actually pretty sad as to what is taking place. So, all right, let's see here. What else we got here? It looks like a good effort on the chat, guys. Good effort on the chat. All right, so we're going to go ahead and transition real quick here. And if you guys have not hit that like and subscribe button, do me a favor. The time is now because we've got to be ready. And the next sponsor of Prep Stock is EMP Shield, guys. Fair notice, I'm an affiliate with EMP Shield. I support this product because it's tested and proven to work. If you doubt what I say, do your research before you chime in. Now, you won't do it here, but you guys know what I'm talking about. EMP Shield is the only company that is listed by the Department of Homeland Security in their February 5th EMP Resiliency Report. That should be telling you something. With tensions growing in Ukraine and the Middle East and now Taiwan and the Philippines, more and more we should be thinking about that one situation that no one wants to prepare for, and that's an EMP event. Here's what I'll say. I have a plan. I have an EMP shield device on all of my cars. I've told you guys this 1,000 times before. The plan is simple. If something happens, my girlfriend will be able to get to me. And if I need to go get grandma, I'll be able to do that too. EMP shield is the only device that exceeds 7 military standards for EMP protection. Now, there are people out there that are trying to debunk the device, but they can't. Every time they try, they fail. It's just that easy. And every time they test it, it actually works. So with that said, I'll leave a link somewhere for you to check it out. And if you decide to pull the trigger on this level of protection, don't forget to use code LocalPrepper, all one word, to save $50. That's a huge chunk of change. That's a big savings. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and move on. And we're going to talk. I'm going to check chat one more time right here. Let's see. The bill and command reminds. All right. Any person likes Brussels sprouts. Good Boys Guild says it's going to be a witch hunts all over again. Yeah, it's all fun and games until somebody shows up on your doorstep and you have to make a life-changing decision. A life-changing decision. All right. Good Boys Guild says it's where are we at? No. GBG, you got that right. Gotcha. Andy Person says Brussels sprouts are great, but to spite the feds, boys, I hate them. Oh, I got you. Just to spite those. I hate Brussels sprouts. Give me some more. All right, let's see here. I'm going to check the chat on the YouTube side one more time here. Let's see. Yeah, exactly. Jordan O'Neill also notes that it takes away from the ability to peacefully protest. Exactly. I mean, are they really turning up? Could they turn a protest into what they classify as a hate crime and then combined it with something as simple as littering? I think that's a little bit out there, but that's the theory of their law, that if they can add hate to anything, then it's like maximum penalties. You know what I'm saying? We have hate laws here in the United States. And for the most part, I hate to say this, guys, but for the most part, they actually work. You know what I'm saying? The only people that actually use them are the feds, which is very smart. I'm not saying our feds are any good. I'm just saying that our hate laws seem to be working as written. So, something digging in my ear. I don't know what that is. Oh, let's see here. Bradley says, we love repeating the past. It makes the younger crowd have something to say. They loved through, like every generation before, but it's not a badge of honor like the news makes it look like. Very true. Very true. I feel like I might have to defend myself in court for a right. I'm going to vote no. Gotcha. Debbie, good morning. Good morning, Debbie. Yeah, we don't know what's going to happen. And this is Canada. This isn't America, so we can take a couple of deep breaths, because I don't think that I think it'll take another 20 years or so for us to get to the point where people will accept those things. I was watching a video yesterday where they were talking about, Americans that they're 20 years ago, they're ready to go to war over certain things. But now there's so many sheeple, it's just absolutely insane, where it's just like they tax this and tax that. And it's like what I call a boomerang tax. It just keeps coming back. They just bounce it from the next person, So yeah, let's see. Where are we at here? Debbie says, the recent posts all seem have been anything but peaceful. They end up breaking the law with vandalism, etc. Yeah. And thankfully, they've actually been catching the people who are doing the vandalism. If you guys didn't catch that one, they're actually doing that. In fact, the father, the kid, I think he was a 14-year-old kid who vandalized the war memorial there in front of, I think it's the Columbia campus. And he wrote Gaza in red spray paint on it. His father turned him in. Yeah. I bet his father's an immigrant too. I bet his father's like from India or something like that. And he's just like, you bringing shame on his family name in doing such things, which is I think is awesome. It's a shame that his father had to do that, because now his father's got to live with that the rest of his life. But if it's like, have I taught you nothing, my son? It's kind of interesting. Bradley says 20 years. That's not that long. Equality of outcome is not the solution, but it seems to be what they vote for. Yeah, unfortunately, they vote with their hearts and not with their brains. Okay, so great interaction, guys, on the chat. I truly appreciate it. Hopefully, we'll have some more of that after I tell you about this one right here. Let me take a sip of the coffee. All right, what do we got here? Matter of fact, let's see how the platform wars are going, guys. YouTubers, I hate to tell you this, but the Rumblers are beating you. There's 39 people watching on Rumble and only 22 on the YouTubes, and so you need to, yeah. Okay, so this next one is kind of interesting because you know what, I can't remember. I may have done 4 here instead of 3 like I normally do. Let me scroll. No, I only did 3. I thought I did the 4th one. And if I don't talk about the last one, what is going on here? Computer work, activate. All right. Google's new conversation listening tech could embolden governments to mandate on-device speech scanning. I'm going to say that one more time. We're all worried about them listening, reaching into our phones and using some kind of special hoodoo magic to listen to what we say. Now they're talking about mandating on-device speech scanning. That means a little piece of software would be on your phone, scanning your words as they come out of your mouth, and then warning you that there may be a problem with what you're saying. Guys, you're going to love this. Digital scams have been increasingly sophisticated, and Google's latest innovation offers a promising defense mechanism. Oh, you're going to save us. Thank you, Google. But like with all things Google promotes as progress, how it impacts lives and the implication of the technology could become a major civil liberties issue. Especially anti-privacy EU officials are likely salivating at the idea of this technology. Announced at the I/O Developer Conference, the company is testing a new monitoring feature. I love it. Designed to protect Android users from phone scams. This feature leverages Gemini Nano. It's called the Gemini Nano, a streamlined version of Google's Gemini large language model. By the way, that's AI, which can run locally on devices to detect fraudulent language. Fraudulent language. I love it. And patterns during calls, alerting users in real time. Ooh, the phone's going to tell me this is a scammer when all I really have to do is listen for the call center in the background. While this development is a significant step forward in combating scams, it also raises critical questions about privacy and the potential for broader applications that could infringe on personal freedoms. Google's new feature utilizes advanced AI to scan for signs of scamming behavior, such as requests for personal information, urgent money transfers, and payments via gift cards. These are all things that pretty much every teenager knows is a scam. But we're going to try it anyway. By operating entirely on your device, Gemini Nano ensures that conversations remain private and supposedly, and in theory, do not need to be sent to external servers for processing. Now, from the EU's perspective, from child safety to potential overreach is what they're calling it. The European Union has been at the forefront of legislative efforts to regulate the online world, particularly in protecting children from abuse, or at least using that as an excuse to erode privacy. The EU's chat control proposal, for instance, has sparked significant debate due to its implications for privacy and encryption. Initially, the proposal mandated that tech companies implement client-side scanning, also known as CSS. That's on the device. That's on the device scanning to detect bad content before it is encrypted and sent. Wait a minute. They want to detect bad content before it's encrypted and sent. Who does that? That doesn't make any sense. Which many critics argue could lead to mass surveillance, weakened end-to-end encryption, and ultimately the use to monitor to detect whistleblowers. Oh, now they want to find the whistleblowers, dissidents, or anyone else a government would want to surveil. Oh, if you're worried that you have a file with the government, you already have one. Take a breath, drink something, enjoy your life. Moving on. While Google's new scam detection feature is focused on phone calls, it sets a precedent for the use of advanced AI in real-time content monitoring. Some techs have pushed back against such invasive anti-privacy proposals, but now that Google has decided to implement this to detect scams, the floodgates could open to other forms of non-device or on-device scanning. Now that the technology exists and is being used anyway, this development could embolden the EU. Oh, there it is. Here it comes. Oh, yeah. First one of the morning. Hopefully, I won't have any more, but we'll see what happens. This development could embolden the EU to extend similar requirements to other forms of communications, such as emails, chats, social media interactions, under the guise of preventing various types of harmful content, including misinformation and hate speech and other activities. Today, it's scams. Tomorrow, it's dissent. Yeah, you guys got to love this. You got to love it. It hints at a future when it's not just the cloud that people need to be concerned about. And we were talking about the cloud yesterday in the Discord. When it comes to surveillance and monitoring of speech, they also have to contend with whether they ultimately have privacy on their devices. Themselves. There's number 2 right there. All right, let's see here. Now for the privacy concerns and what they're calling the slippery slope. Let me take a sip of this coffee. It's not going to help, but it'll make me feel better. The potential for such technology to be expanded beyond its initial purpose raises significant privacy concerns. If the EU were to mandate the use of client-side scanning for a broad range of content, it could lead to a scenario where all forms of digital communications are subject to consent monitoring. Oh my God, I just want to read our mail now. This could effectively dismantle the privacy protections afforded by end-to-end encryption, as all messages would need to be scanned for illegal content before being encrypted. Isn't that funny? Critics argue that this approach could create a surveillance state where personal communications are continuously scrutinized by AI algorithms as mandated by governments. The rise of false positives, where legitimate content is incorrectly flagged as harmful, is another serious concern. Such errors could ultimately lead to unwarranted scrutiny of innocent individuals and chilling effects on free speech, where even your own device isn't safe from dissent monitoring. And that's what this really is all about. Monitoring dissent. And if you don't know what dissent is, basically it's a verbal or written conversation where you don't like what they're doing. They're wrong. We don't believe you, government. It's the thing that they've been trying to shut us up on forever. All right, so if you got anything you want to say about that, do me a favor, put it in the comments. If you have not hit the like button, do me a favor and do that now. If you are new to the stream, hit that subscribe button. I am here Monday through Friday, 9:30-ish in the morning for about an hour. Looks like here, let's see here. Show me the warrant. Jordan says, show me the warrant. There you go. But that's just it, Jordan. That's just it. What this is all about is working around those types of things. They don't want to show you. They don't want to talk to a judge. They don't want to have to answer questions. They just want to do it because it feels good down in their dirty black little hearts. Laser says, when are we going to stand up to this bullying? Yeah, Laser, it's a question. It's a question that, it's like, do I, grab grab all of my freedom seeds and my freedom, I don't even know how to verbalize it for for the YouTubes anymore, you know? And just start heading to the Capitol? No, because that's not how we stop this. We stop this by controlling our states. It's like people forgot that the states have a lot of power. And these governors with the backing of their legislature can literally defy the federal government. Well, this happened in Texas, and none of the stuff that they said would happen. They'll federalize the National Guard. None of that happened. None of that happened, because in the end, there are more of us than they are of them. Okay. What we have to make sure is that them is never more than us. And then we can live in a free society. We don't have to storm the halls. We don't have to do, we don't have to be dissenting all the time, because we're actually agreeing with what our government is doing, which is why there's so much dissent right now, which they are now returning into misinformation. And if you tell somebody that it's a lie, then it's disinformation. It's a joke. It's a joke. Grumpy Acre says, wasn't Gemini the AI that made Asian Nazis and Black founding fathers? Wasn't Gemini the AI that made Asian Nazis? I don't know. Oh, you're talking about the pictures. You're talking about the pictures. I got you. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that was it. I don't know if that was it. Let's see here. Bradley says, wow, did you say it was an unalienable right? Not anymore, because I got a camera that's watching something, and there's a dog over there. Not anymore, because it will have your consent by using it disrespectfully and dissent. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, once you click OK, you're saying OK. And at a certain point, guys, at a certain point, we're going to have to throw these things away. When you started seeing, the first time you ever saw anything like this, guys? Star Trek. Remember the tricorders? Remember the Doctor and Mr. Spock? And sure, the planet is breathable. We're not going to die. Remember that crap? The first time we saw this was that, and then in sci-fi, and then we made it. But I don't think anybody ever saw what these things were going to do. It's like I remember when it's made our lives so simple, and for having the world at the tip of our fingers, we've given up our rights to do things. So at some point, we may have to say bye-bye to those things. Let's see here. House of, I need to click on Bradley, still up here. We're going to hide you. Over on the Rumble side, House of Cleve says, I think the breaking point is if the election is a poorly orchestrated as last time. Going to get more interesting the closer we get to it. Yeah, I think there's, some people think that that's a breaking point, House of Cleves or Cleve. Some people think that that's going to be a breaking point. If Donald Trump doesn't win the election, some people think that that's going to be a breaking point, that there could be some things. And, we're going to see the fear, the real fear, because I can guarantee on election day, they're going to fence off the Capitol again. They're going to call in the National Guard and say we've got solid intelligence that somebody's planning something. That's what they say all the time, just so they can justify putting the fences up. It's absolutely ridiculous. And the thing is if something were to go down this next time, it's not going to be a whole buttload of freaking feds. All right. And nobody in the National Guard is going to be able to stop anything. Okay. It's all going to be over with, So I think that if they try to play these games where, mysteriously 60,000 votes show up in the middle of the night, I think that there's going to be, you better have your freaking preps on, man. You better have your preps on, because some stuff may just go down. Let's see here. Laser says artificial intelligence is going to get interesting too. The cell phone is one thing, but AI, oof. Guy, if you didn't know this, that AI is in your phone already, man. It's already in your phone. AI is already in all of the search engines, and believe it or not, Brave was one of the first ones to have it. When you type something in the search bar in Brave, you get an AI response now, the same as you do in the last few weeks from Google. Instead of just a list of all the websites, it's like giving you an answer to something. Let's see here. West Virginia Pappy says fences and walls don't work. Exactly, man. Exactly. All right, so I'm going to roll on over here to the. There was a lot of stuff here on the, but I mean androids. I gotcha. Bradley says they changed the definition of personal to something only visible by you and your government. I gotcha. Grumpy says we start controlling our states by getting control of our towns, cities, and countries. Be involved. Absolutely true. Let's see here. Ian says good people don't need laws to tell them to act responsibly, while bad people will find a way around laws. Plato. Absolutely true. You know, bad people are bad people. You know, can bad people be good people? Yes. Can good people be bad people? Yes. It's kind of a conundrum. But the reality is in general, this cat just scared the shit out of me. She just dove on my foot. In general, you know, the good people don't need people to tell them. You know, it's one of the things that I learned in the Marine Corps was it's hard to do the right thing. It's even harder to do the right thing when no one is looking. And I think that's where a lot of these problems are festering. They're breeding. They're growing like a virus, you know, where we're not paying attention to what the hell is going on. Laser says people don't have morals anymore. Sure they do, but the problem is that they're not being forced down their throat by their parents. Like I was telling you with that kid who defaced that monument. His father turned him in. You know, his father turned him in. Son, I'm sorry, but you're not listening. This is not acceptable. And I think that there's way too much emphasis on this free ranging of our children and allowing them to learn on their own. Yeah, well, when they learn all the wrong things or they hang out with all the wrong people, whose freaking fault is it? Well, they've got to learn it. Must be their fault because it couldn't possibly be your fault, right, parent? That's where the problem is, guys. That's where the problem is. All right. Integrity is a dying breed. Yeah, integrity. Yeah, integrity. JJ did tie buckle. Look it up. Let's see here. All right, guys. So I think I've got ow, god damn it, cat. Those are claws, you dipstick. This cat loves feet. It's got a feet. Wi-Fi disconnected. I don't know why that happened. Get a chance to look over the wish list. Oh, okay. You know what? And I forgot. I need to tell you guys about something. So before I close up, Prep Stock is we're building a Amazon wish list for things that we want to provide. So I'm going to put a link in the comments. I'll pin a link into the comments for the Amazon wish list so that you can go there if you want to help Prep Stock out and you know you can't attend. This is your way of helping. We truly appreciate it. You can, I mean, it's just dumb stuff like, you know, coffee cups and signs and stupid little things that just will make the event super duper cool. All right, guys, as usual, if you like what I'm doing, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. If you love what I'm doing, do me a favor and find a link below and do something. Support the channel, buy yourself an EMP shield. I don't know, whatever it is down. There's lots of links down there. You'll figure it out. You're adults. All right, guy. Going hands-free for a while. Good day to y'all. See you later, Bradley. All right, guys. I think that's going to be about it right now. But don't forget, I'll put that Amazon link here in the next minute down in the chat. Once this thing goes off, it'll be in the non-live chat. All right, guys. Stay safe. Have a great day, and I'll see you when I see you. Bye-bye.